Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic snow and winter weather is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me here on the studio once again, Mr. Jimmy Jet. Jimmy Jet, JJ, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks.
It's good. Mm-hmm.
I had the nickname JJ for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your high school days or?
It was early college,
Okay.
and it was a job, and somehow I probably told somebody, but somehow they figured out my middle name was Jet, and then my name tag had JJ written on
it. Nice. You don't go by that anymore?
I would if people called me it, I guess.
We're gonna start a movement.
Yeah.
JJ.
Yes.
Hey. Oh man. This is Monday. Fun day. Monday.
162.
162?
No, not 162. 362.
There we go.
It's one of those 62s.
Yeah, it's something around there. 62 with some number in front of it. I don't know.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's a Monday episode, which means we could talk about some fun stuff, but it is January.
Yes, it is.
2023, and we're doing a giveaway for this month. We have 2 winners slated to win this month.
And
we don't know who they are.
Win, though.
They are going to win a couple of single tire trail inflators from Moreflight.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah,
are these brand new?
They are brand new.
Are they released?
They are. They're up on the website right now.
Cool. What's the website domain where people can find those?
Moreflate.com
/trail inflator.
No, I think it'd be /product/ Moreflate single tire inflator trail.
Something like
that. It's up on the website.
Nice.
So if you go to the menu and then shop and then hose kits, you'll see it there on that product page.
Cool.
On the category page for the hose kits.
Yep. And there'll be a link down in the description for you if you want to check that out specifically. I'll add one in there.
Sweet.
I couldn't do it yet because there is when we were recording there
True.
wasn't a link. So I will update that.
Cool. Yep. We got those going on. So they work great with compressed air systems. And that's really kind of the thought and process behind them is the compressed air system for people that don't want to handle and mess around with 4 hoses kind of thing, a 4 hose kit. But what really is where it shines is in shops and garages.
Yes.
So,
I'm excited to get one for my garage.
Yep. So that's the main benefit of where it's going to be at, I think, is where the main market is in the shops and garages out there. So automotive shops, individual garages. So it should be a lot of fun coming out with these and seeing kind of where the market ends up being.
Still waiting to get one in my hands, Tyler.
That's what she said. So
got me. Nice job, Tyler.
Thank you, sir.
That was outstanding. Well timed. Well played.
Yes, I do have great timing. So yeah, we got those. We're giving away 2 of them this month. So we got 2 winners. And in order to get in on that, you just got to go to irate4x4.com and sign up for the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. And that's under there. And you get access to the forum without having to sign up anything. But if you want access to the super secret private forum, then you got to sign up for something. And all of those options are there under the Snail Trail forum.
Yes,
including the giveaway option that you got to sign up for if you want to be included for the giveaway.
Yeah, and you can sign up 2 ways. You can sign up monthly or annually.
That's true. Yeah. So that's up there. Let's see. What else do we got?
We will do FNG's birthdays and the winners for December on Thursday's episode.
Cool. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to seeing how do we figure out who my winner is and who your winner is.
I don't know. Well, we can choose or Rochambeau, or maybe one of us gets somebody that actually we want to give a gift to.
I have an idea. We can make Moreflate Ryan and Moreflate Sean run around the parking lot topless, and you and I get paintball guns. And whoever hits one of them first gets the first person.
Deal.
Okay, cool. Oh, I just heard Ryan say he's in. So yeah,
I have a paintball gun.
I do too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This will work great then.
I'm going to need to add some CO2 into the tank, but
yeah,
and get some paintballs, but otherwise I'm in.
Yeah, I think I threw away all my old paint. My my hopper and my air tank was both never given back to me after a tournament.
Oh,
yeah.
Mine's a rifle style.
Oh,
so
you're one of those players.
Yes.
Boring.
No.
You're a woods baller.
Yeah, I loved being the long distance person, the one that sniped in a way. Yeah. It was fun. In college, I think I've sold this story before. We're way off topic.
That's okay.
In college,
this is a paintballing podcast.
I went to Cal State Monterey Bay. Cal State Monterey Bay used to be the Fort Ord, like the military base, right? They turned the jail into a paintball arena.
What? For the college?
For people in the area.
Yeah.
They somebody rented the jail space and like did demo on some of the jail cells and like busted walls from like one jail cell to the other. So you could run into a cell and then run in through a wall more or less and come out another cell. Okay. Yeah. Or it made this huge maze. So it was just this awesome arena and you were allowed to go up into the lookout tower. And so I would get up into the lookout tower and just snipe people off from up there, which was great until people figured out that you're in the lookout tower and then you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck up there.
Yeah. One time we played paintball, a game against some active military people. They came out and we slaughtered them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was not because we're good. It's just because
you knew the terrain or
no, like it was like guerrilla warfare versus professionals. Like it was just, they didn't know how to deal with
the chaos
and people going everywhere and, you know, just non-strategic moves happening. Like, why did that person just run from there to there? What the hell? And so, yeah, we took them out pretty quick. It was pretty funny. And then they caught on. And then I think the next game they slaughtered us.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. We had I used to play on a semi-pro NPPL team.
Oh,
the sevens. So we had 7-player teams on the field. And so we played speedball.
Yeah.
Which is in arenas with inflatable buoys to hide behind. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And I think my most fun time paintballing was they took 3 fields and took the walls down in between them. So it was one massive field.
Oh, crazy.
And they do this once a year and they call it Paintball Palooza.
Yeah.
And they literally put like 200 people on the field, 100 on each side. And then you just go until either one team is completely eliminated or half an hour is reached.
Dang.
So me and the guys on the team, we would just sit back at our end of the field and wait for like 20 minutes. Just sitting back, hanging out, chatting, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, all right, 30 minutes is almost here. Should we just go through now? And then we would just go through and wipe the rest of the team out. The whole rest of the field. We'd clear the field in like 10 minutes.
Dang.
It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Yeah. So did you have a spider?
I did not. I had a Tipman, Bob Tipman and Intimidator. Was it Intimidator? It was what was it? It wasn't a Tipman. That's a different gun. Bob Long Intimidator. That's what it was. Yeah.
A Bobby Long.
A Bob Long Intimidator, yeah.
I had a Tipman Pro Light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were some people on the team that had spiders, but I had a Bob Long Intimidator and with a custom board and I could put it on full auto. But you get kicked out of games for being on full auto.
Oh yeah.
So I only used it during either the practice sessions or when we were just out goofing around with the public.
Yeah, sure.
So
I'll kind of bringing this back around. I want to.
No, we don't need to do that.
When we have Sean and Ryan running around topless out in the parking lot,
yeah,
we should write the name of the person on one of them.
Oh,
and so then if we want a specific somebody, then we're aiming at a specific someone, or it's whoever hits which person.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see how this goes.
We'll give them goggles, of course.
We have security cameras on the building, so we'll get footage of it and put it out there for people.
Perfect. I love it. All right. So where were we?
I have no clue.
We were just concluding December giveaways and FNG's birthdays and
Gotcha. For coming up next week.
Yep.
So, or on Thursday this week. So cool. Yeah, we got all that stuff happening this week. No voicemails. So no voicemails to go over. Donnie still has not called in about his new Land Rover companion.
I think he's mad at us.
He may be mad at us. I don't know that we're starting to steal the Land Rover crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That we have more Land Rover friends than he does.
That probably.
The one.
Yeah, the one. Oh, Donnie. I don't know. Yeah, man. We got a good episode today.
Yeah, very relevant episode.
Super relevant. And we've talked a little bit here and there about little things that we do, but I don't think we've put together a full episode on this topic in a while.
Yeah, we actually looked it up. We're going to recover an episode, but it's been so long that we wanted to bring it back around into attention. I think the last time we covered this was episode 144.
Yeah, which is just about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. So it'll be fun to kind of revisit this one now. And I have some ideas.
Good. Because I don't.
Oh, come on. Yes, you do. You got to have ideas.
I have a little bit. And one of them I'm doing on Bobcat right now.
Oh, perfect. Like right now as we speak?
Well, this week.
Oh, okay. All right. So without further ado, let's get over to the main topic, our fun little campfire discussion. And so grab your favorite drinks, grab your favorite chairs. I'm really liking that hammock chair I got. And we'll be right on back with today's campfire discussion.
When it comes to suspension systems, not only do we want it to flex over the rocks or go fast in the desert, but we want it to handle well on the road. 4-Wheel Underground has put in the time researching and testing to create a performance suspension system that handles well in every situation. If you're looking to level up your suspension game, make sure to check out 4-Wheel Underground.
Oh, welcome back, ladies, gentle ladies, kiddos, doggos, cattos, and anybody else out there who identifies as anything other than what I just said. Man, welcome back to another campfire discussion, Jimmy.
Can I identify as a dog and go pee in public?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Okay.
Yep. I wonder if that was would be really a thing. If somebody, if they tried to argue it legally, if they could argue that they identify as a dog.
I don't know. Yeah, you would still get arrested.
Probably. And still get a nice little anklet.
And you just bark at them.
Growl, try and bite the officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Rabies.
Oh, man. So yeah, we got a fun topic today. Since we are kind of in winter here now, full force in winter in California, NorCal. We got a lot of snow coming down up in the mountains. We got a lot of rain coming down around us, a lot of mud everywhere in the lower elevations. So we thought it'd be a fun time to revisit a topic and kind of update it with kind of currently what we do nowadays. It's been about 2 years since we did this one, and it is, how do you prepare your vehicle for the winter?
Yes.
And we're talking about California preparations, not necessarily other states where you got to put salt protection into your vehicle.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, they don't use salt out here in California. So we got a benefit on that side.
Yeah.
They use sand.
So
they do a mixture, don't they?
It's a mixture. Yeah. Of salt and sand. It's not just pure salt like other states do.
Right.
Yeah. There's a mixture there. But yeah, we are going to be covering kind of the processes that we go through and some ideas that we consider and think about when we're prepping our off-road rigs and our vehicles for winter weather driving and winter weather recreation.
Yep.
I don't know. We don't really have a particular list or particular order. I think it's going to be just more of a kind of a fun conversation that can end up going down a bunch of fun little rabbit holes, I think. So
yeah, I think so too. Shall I start, since I really only have kind of one item on my list?
Sure.
And then you can tell us about what you kind of do.
I think you're going to have more items as we get into this.
I have a few questions. But okay. Yeah, I do. I think the main item that I think of for winterizing your vehicle, I got two. One is to make sure that you have coolant in your radiator.
That's a good one.
And not water,
Uh-huh.
which I've learned. And the second one is checking and making sure all the seals are good on your axles, because our vehicles go through water a lot, and water can get inside of there with all the snow wheeling or slight river crosses or any other, mud and grime that happens. So you just want to make sure that you're having good seals and you're not leaking anything to fall out on the ground. If you're leaking, there's probably a seal is bad somewhere, and you should be getting in there to replace it, which is what I am intending to do this week with Bobcat, is to fix the inner axle seals on the front axle on Bobcat and get it ready for some winter wheeling.
Nice. Yeah, man. It's the other thing is that to consider is that if you're not leaking anything, that you might be out of fluids.
Well, yeah.
So
check your fluid levels.
Yeah, no, those are really, really good ones, especially the axle seals and just seals in general. The major part of winter weather wheeling and recreation is water intrusion.
Yes.
Right. Water ingress. So if you want to go out and do more winter recreation, you need to do everything you can to combat water ingress into your vehicle, because water ingress can also be the death of you in winter conditions as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
That goes from seals. Axle seals is a big one, because you're going to probably end up going through water crossings at some point where your axle will be underwater. So double check those seals. I like to also go through and just check the bearings, just get eyes on bearings. During the summer months, they're probably just fine, but just make sure that they're well greased so that you're not getting a ton of water into your bearings as well, and without any grease in there.
Yeah.
Because the water will start stripping away some of the grease that's there. And if you don't have much left, then that could be really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people wheel more during the summer months than they do during the winter months. So your bearings and everything probably have had more stress placed on them during those months. So opening up the wheels, the hubs assembly one way or another to get your eyes on the bearings, make sure there's enough and adequate grease in there, and change your seals for the inner axle seals is an excellent step to take, because if you're going after those seals, you're already going through all these bearings to get back there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good one. Let's see. What other kind of water intrusion stuff could we talk about? A big one is electronics.
Okay.
So electrical wiring. And I found this out after last season.
Yes.
Because my batteries are upside down underneath my vehicle.
Yeah, upside down and backwards.
Is that a thing? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just sounds cooler.
My batteries are upside down and
backwards.
And I don't have a lot of water protection on the wiring, or I didn't.
Yeah.
And so after last season, I found that a lot of my wiring had fully corroded, and I honestly had no clue how my winch was still working.
Yeah, the wires were bad.
They were really bad.
Rotten in a way through and broken. And yeah, you only had a few actual wires connecting the winch line. Yeah. That was crazy.
It was pretty crazy. I didn't realize that it would have happened kind of that quickly. It was like 2 winter seasons I went through them. And so I redid all my wiring with heat shrink with glue on the inside. So it seals up all the wires and the strand wires there to the terminations. So just go through and kind of check those really quick. Check your battery terminals, because a lot of our off-road vehicles, we tend to make holes in our fender wells for different things. And so if you've got holes in your fender wells, there's chance for water to come up into your engine bay. And so if water's coming up in your engine bay, that means moisture is getting to your battery terminals. If moisture gets to your battery terminals, then there's a chance you can start getting corrosion on them. So check your electrical wiring connections, anything that's not housed in something. That's another really good one to kind of prepare yourself for winter wheeling, because as everything starts getting wet, that's when short circuits happen and you can start frying things pretty quickly. Electronics, make sure they're weatherized for what you're going to be doing. Another big one for me is the windshield wipers.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're going to be going out into...
I'm going to write that down.
I just got some more this morning for the 4Runner. But yeah, windshield wipers. And I'm a big fan of the Rain-X windshield wipers.
Oh, the assistant has some on the CRV.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They do a phenomenal job when we went down through the winter storm to my buddy's birthday party the other month ago or whatever it was.
Yeah. So I've both, Rain-X'd my windshield as well as just to use the Rain-X windshield wipers. And I honestly think that the windshield wipers do a better job than just Rain-Xing it. Which I thought was interesting. Yeah. I thought it would have been the other way around. And so, yeah, winterizing your windshield is a big thing during the winter months here, because it just gives you vision, right? And the more vision you have, the quicker you can make decisions while driving.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think of another one. Is there's always that crappy grime on the inside of your window. And I don't have the best solution to remove that.
Yeah.
But if anybody does have an excellent solution on how to get that grime out of there, that is one of the leading factors towards the window fogging.
It allows moisture to accumulate on that grime.
Yeah.
And makes things fog up really quick.
And so I've used all kinds of solutions and towels, and it just doesn't ever really clean out very easily.
No.
Somebody once told me to do something with baking powder or baking powder, one of the others, and try to use that. But if anybody has a good solution on what to use to get that grime out from the inside of the window, that's a very important clean to do for winterizing.
Yeah, that's a big one. I've used the Rain-X anti-fog, and I've never really had it work great.
No, neither have I.
I've used a couple of other anti-fog stuff. It never really works great. The best thing that I've found so far, which still doesn't work great, is just Windex.
Oh, okay.
Is Windex and everything, and just squeak it all clean with a paper towel, not a microfiber. Yeah. Yeah. It's what I found that works the best, but I'm not still a huge fan of it. It's just, I haven't found anything better yet.
Sure.
I do kind of like MF Orion's idea though.
I'm concerned.
He carries a little baby squeegee with him.
Oh, he is that one.
Yeah. So he just squeegees the inside of his window every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
that seems like the worst case scenario.
Yeah. I agree, but it's kind of like, man, after my last trip where I had anti-fogged, I Windexed the window first, then put anti-fog on it, and it was still just accumulating moisture on the inside of the window like crazy. I was using my hand as a squeegee, like the back of my fingers, just going and wiping my window every 2 minutes. I was like, I think a squeegee would be better for this.
Probably true.
Yeah.
In regards to electronics, have you ever done anything in Vaselined things shut so that water can't get in them?
Not necessarily Vaseline, but there is dielectric grease.
Okay.
Dielectric grease, that's literally like its purpose is to fill the void so that water can't get into where your wires and electrical connections are.
But does dielectric grease conduct electricity?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the point.
So if you filled your fuse box with it though, that wouldn't be a good thing.
I mean, you could in theory, but I don't know why. No. Well, I mean, because then it would short out between all your different fuses.
Exactly.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that.
So I think Vaseline though doesn't conduct electricity.
Okay.
And so it'll do the water protection without concern of electrical connections.
It would. I think a better option would just be to build a cover for the fuse box and put a gasket rubber or something O-ring in there to make it waterproof that way. Right?
Yeah. I mean, most fuse boxes in the engine bays already have a cover on them, right? But those covers aren't the best. That's what I've seen people put Vaseline around that area to block any water from going in.
Oh, I thought you were saying fill your fuse box with Vaseline.
I asked about fueling the fuse box with the dielectric grease because I thought that it might short circuit itself.
Yeah.
But I mean, worst case scenario, you fill it with Vaseline and it won't have any problems. But I've seen people around their distributor, the distributor cap, cover it in the ring around in Vaseline and around the fuse box with Vaseline.
Nice. I haven't heard about the fuse box. I've seen it around the distributor caps though. Yeah. Yeah. So that would work too. Yeah, I never thought about using Vaseline for that, but I guess if you have it in abundance, it's an easy to get item to do and it would work. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could add it to some connectors, or you could do the dielectric grease on the battery terminals.
You don't want to necessarily do that on battery terminals. What I would do for battery terminals is make sure all your connections are solid. And then there's a battery terminal spray.
Yeah. That's purple.
Anti-corrosion. Yep.
Yeah.
And you just put that on and it acts like a clear coat to keep water from making contact with the metal surfaces and then corroding.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So that stuff works great. I reapply that once every 2 months or so.
Oh, wow.
Once a month during winter, maybe more on my batteries, but my batteries are in a very water wet spot during winter. So that I find that the Rain-X windshield wipers, they last me probably about 3 months before they stop having that Rain-X application on them. And so I will tend to buy a set a little bit into winter and then just have them until next season.
Right.
And I just buy a set each season. So
I usually replace wipers every season anyway, or every winter season, whenever it comes around.
Yeah.
Another thing to do is, if you haven't done it already, extend your breathers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You need to, on the axles, a lot of breathers on the T cases, or I don't know if there's a breather on the transmission. There's probably is.
It depends on the transmission. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those are already pretty high. They're usually on the top side of those items. You can extend them. I know that the Tacoma is extended up onto like almost to the top of the bell housing.
Okay.
So they're lifted a little bit higher, but your axles or third members, those breathers should be tucked up and out of the way because you will submerge those.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you can get it high enough into the engine bay or somewhere where it's going to be higher than your air input into your engine, then those are going to be safe.
Yeah. What about snorkels? Since we're talking about kind of breathers.
Yeah. I'm sure snorkels are fine. I mean, that would work. They usually have a catch system. So if you do get water into them, they have a spot where,
like rainwater.
Yeah. Rainwater. Anything. If you're going upside down in the water, you'd probably catch some of that stuff too. I don't know. Yeah. But I would just check and clean that system out every once in a while. Otherwise they would be fine in the winter weather months. And, they do catch a different amount of different air than on the trail, and you don't get as much dirt and grime into them. So they are a benefit that way.
Yep. Yeah.
What else about them? What were you thinking?
I was just thinking for like water crossings, or if you're looking at having a flood year or something, would it be beneficial to install a snorkel?
Yeah, but that way if you're going to go deep enough that you are concerning yourself with having a snorkel and you're surpassing the point of where your normal air intake is, then you also need to concern yourself with the electrical of your computer and any other electronics inside or underneath your vehicle. And all those breathers need to then go taller because that much further up. If you're going to go to the depth where your hood is under the water, then you've got a lot more other work to do than just adding a snorkel.
Yes, you do. Cool. That's a good answer. What about, here's one that I had just kind of considered, I think yesterday, because we were talking with Forerunner Dave about his pinion angle and caster angle on his axle. And I was thinking about it. I was like, the only time I use 4-wheel drive at higher speeds is during the winter.
Okay.
So one thing that you could think about if you're looking at winterizing your vehicle is for those with selectable hubs and for those who can keep their front drive shaft from spinning normally, is if you want to be traveling around using 4-wheel drive during the wintertime on roads or surfaces, to check your front drive shaft.
Yeah.
Make sure that it's balanced and that your U-joints are good.
Sure.
That way you're not going to get a ton of drive shaft vibration.
Yeah. Or even have 2 drive shafts.
Yeah.
Like in case of Forerunner Dave, he has a square tubed front shaft, with the unlimited amount of slip in it. Or he could have a balanced front one that he uses during the winter. And then during when he's not rock crawling and going to have a lot of potential to hit that drive shaft, you know. And then during the summer months, he throws in the square one for the strength and the possibility that it might get damaged.
Yeah.
You know, so you could have the winter one that you can go faster with, take up to higher RPMs, or the rugged one for rock crawling
time during the summer. Yeah. I like that idea. I like the thought of doing 2 drive shafts, a winter and a summer one.
And in a way, some people do that with tires.
Yep.
Some people will rock 40s during the rock crawling season and then go up to 42s or bigger
49s.
Yeah, during the snow season, so they can lift themselves up a little bit more out of the snow.
Yep. Get more flotation, wider tires, bigger footprints. Yep. That's a good one. Tire tread. Checking your tread during the summertime, it's almost beneficial to have very little tread because you get a lot more rubber surface on rocks, which can be a little bit more grabby. I know that's one reason why people prefer to run worn down iRocks on rocks. And
stickies in that situation. There's more sticky tire on the ground. But, you know, in winter, you want to have big lug voids. If you're looking at least for snow wheeling, winter recreation stuff. What was it called? Void ratio.
Void ratio, the high void ratio. And so checking your tread and making sure that it's good, you have that void ratio still. And, but you still have enough tread there to kind of dig and get traction and grab when you need it to. That's a good thing that you should be checking as well on your tires.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe check the bead locks. If you have bead locks, check the bolts around the outside, make sure everything's tight, make sure that it's where it's all supposed to be.
Yep. That's a good one. A big thing that coming from, and you think about it, you're coming from from the summer months, summer wheeling into winter wheeling. You don't necessarily need all your joints and everything to be super tight in winter because you're typically not getting really articulated. You're not really getting off camber a lot. The big goal of the winter recreation snow wheeling stuff is rain wheeling, mudding, anything like that you like to do during winter stuff. It's a lot of drivetrain response mixed with flotation on the snow or flotation over through mud or whatever you're trying to do. And so, yeah, your joints on your suspension will get worn out during summertime, and it would probably be a good idea just to make sure that all the bolts and nuts and everything are still tight, which you should be doing before you go out on any trip anyways. But if the joints if you got like bushings worn out or some of your Heim joints need to be rebuilt, it's probably not as big of a deal in snow wheeling. But if you're driving to and from the trails, you definitely want to check those and switch them out before you're driving around on the road in inclement weather.
Yeah. And going to drive shafts, we just need to make sure the U joints are good.
Yeah. I would say you want to go through and grease everything you can.
Oh, good point. Yep.
Because a lot of times during the summer, as you're articulating all your suspension out, you're putting a lot of wear and tear on wheel bearings, you're putting wear on your U joints, spinning them, driving to and from trails. Grease will tend to come out. And like I said earlier, if grease comes out of stuff during the winter months, then you're letting water get in. And so making sure that everything is re-greased. Just go ahead and put a Zerk fitting on your U-joints real quick. Put a Zerk fitting on whatever other things you got. We already talked about wheel bearings. So lots of different options for greasability joints, suspension joints. Just throw a little bit of grease back in there.
Yep. Steering. A bunch of the steering components have greasable fittings. So.
Oh yeah. I was thinking like the steering column down to the box. I was like,
no, not that. Ball joints or CV joints or any of those things. A lot of them have a Zerk that you can just put a little bit of extra grease into it.
Yeah. Another thing which not a ton of people think about, but it ends up happening to a lot of people in winter recreation.
Yeah.
Is overheating.
Okay. Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about it, I think, on a semi-previous episode, but it's being in snow and doing snow wheeling can be really rough on vehicles, especially automatic transmissions. And so you need to make sure that your coolant system for the vehicle, not just the engine, but also for your automatic transmission, is working properly and up to par, because you end up putting quite a bit of stress on drivetrains and vehicle engines, transmissions, T cases. in the snow that you don't think that you're really typically doing, putting a lot of stress on them. So that, and radiators can get blocked up with snow, so they don't get airflow through them. They stay cool a little bit with the snow in the radiator, but you're lacking that airflow a lot of times, and you're typically running higher RPMs in the snow at low speeds. So it just makes things run warm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So make sure that the coolant, you're level on your coolant, and you do have a proper level or coolant water ratio, and that the coolant is flowing to the transcooler.
Yeah.
Making sure that all the system is working properly.
Yep.
And probably make sure that the coolant is running through your heater core.
Yep. And that's a big thing that you definitely want. Yeah.
So you can get heat in the cab. So that would be a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I do during winter, and I don't know, every time I talk about it, people always give me a weird look.
That's normal though.
It's true. I'm used to it. Is I run my air conditioner while the heat is running.
Okay. I know air conditioner while the defrost is going. But so is it the same theory?
Yes. Same theory. It's just the air conditioner dries out the air.
Yes.
And so typically in winter wheeling scenarios, if you're in inclement weather, you're going to be wet. Whether that's snow on you that's melting inside the cab, or whether you're in the rain, that just means a lot of moisture ends up in the cab of the vehicle. So I run my heat on as high as it can go, on the highest fan setting it can go, with the air conditioner on. And you get nice hot air, but it's nice dry hot air.
Interesting.
And it helps keep things drier inside the cab.
And you're circulating in cab, right?
Yep.
Not pulling from outside.
Exactly. Yep. And so that's one thing I've noticed that I do, that I start talking to other people recently, and they're like, no, why would I run the air conditioner? And I'm like, because it dries out the air. And so, yeah. So that was another big thing that I just thought everybody did that apparently they don't.
Okay. Yeah. What about floor mats? I mean, I rock floor mats in almost all my rigs because you're jumping in and out of your rig. You're carrying snow on your boots. You're carrying mud off of the trail, and you're making a dirty mess. I would suggest people do something, put something down to protect their carpets. 100%. If you have carpet.
I think regardless, whether you have carpet or not, having a floor mat, some kind that is a not carpeted one. So you want it to be almost like I don't want to say WeatherTech because that's a brand, but like the style of mats that they do where they're full rubber mats with a lot of deep grooves in them. I would definitely, especially for winter time, get some of those in your vehicle, but they're great for summertime too, because they catch all the dirt that comes off of your boots and everything. If you, springtime, you're walking around in, slightly moist dirt.
Just jumping in and out of your rig in the middle of summer, you're carrying dirt back and forth.
Yeah. And those they're super easy to clean off. You just them out of the rig, spray them off with a hose. Or if throughout the day of your winter wheeling, you get a ton of water in there, you can just throw it out the door, shake it off a little bit, get all the water out, and then put it back in.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
That's a good thing to have, regardless, not specifically for winter. Do you have another tip for us?
One thing I do, which is not really related to like maintenance on the vehicle, but like once I start my winter snow wheeling, I will keep extra clothes in the 4Runner.
Okay. Yeah.
Smart. So I throw in extra gloves, like snow gloves. I throw in extra gaiters. I throw in extra wool socks, and I just kind of have like this little winter bag in the 4Runner at all times. So it's not really related to vehicle maintenance, but it's part of what I do to get my vehicle ready for winter wheeling. So get that set up. I know a lot of other people that will keep a sleeping bag in their vehicles during the winter months as well. And that's another great idea to do. I haven't done that yet just because I don't really have a sleeping bag that'll pack down super small. But it's definitely something I feel like I should be doing. Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. Plus, probably I can add on to that a little bit. You should probably throw a few extra snacks in that bag. Maybe pack of peanuts or, some fruit snacks or just
granola bars,
things that will last. You don't have to worry about them getting hot or cold during the winter. Something that doesn't really expire anytime soon, but is nutrition dense.
Yeah.
That if you do get in the situation where you need to put on your extra clothes and you need to pull out that sleeping bag, you do have a little bit of extra food on you.
Yeah. That's a good thing to have in that pack. I don't have that in that pack. I always keep water in the rig, but keeping some snack bars in the rig, I think, is something that I need to start doing year round.
Sure.
Not just in winter months, but definitely year round. But it's especially more important in winter months, I think. Let's see. What other stuff can you do to your vehicle to get it ready?
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about tires, making sure your tires are well, and you want the tread depth in the snow wheeling. And, let's talk about airing down a little bit.
Okay.
It's not so much of maintenance, but
yeah.
If you have old tires and you're airing down, then you're getting cracks.
You're cracking your tires. My dad did that once, while we were out on Mormon Immigrant Trail. He aired down so far that the tire cracked and split the sidewall in like 20 places.
Oh no.
And they were like big splits too, where I could stick my whole hand.
Glue tread.
Yeah. Well, the glue tread wouldn't have fixed it.
I remember that. You sent a picture out.
Yeah. So yeah, that one, make sure, especially in winter wheeling, because we're airing down more in snow wheeling than we typically will air down for rocks in the summertime. So you need to make sure that your tires can handle being that low of pressure and your sidewalls flexing that much. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about bead locks. Is there anything else in regards to the wheel that you can think about?
One thing that I used to do on the first gen 4Runner, and I haven't done it on Kermit since I got the race lines, because I don't want to mark up the race lines, but marking on your beadlock ring or the exterior of your wheel somewhere, where your valve stem is another stupid handy thing to do.
Because the wheel always gets packed in with snow.
Yes, exactly.
And so when you need to air up or air down, this makes me think of something else. But when you need to air up and air down, then you can see the mark on the wheel of where your valve stem is.
Exactly.
Super smart.
Yes.
Okay. But that made me think of valve stem caps.
Oh, huge one. Yes. That's a really important one.
Right. And it sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Like why valve stem caps? What's so important about it? But explain, Mr. Air inflation deflation guy, why that's sort of important.
Yeah, valve stem caps are important because it keeps your Schrader valves clean of anything. So Schrader valves are what is the valve core, quote unquote, of your tire valve stem is called a Schrader valve. And it's essentially a blockage in your valve stem that's on a spring. So when you depress it, it opens up the blockage and allows airflow to come through. Now, what's bad about that is those things are the amount of the blockage that opens and closes is so little that it's very easy for that opening to get clogged with debris or get moisture in it and then freeze up. And if your Schrader valve freezes up, you're not getting air back into your tire.
Right.
And you're not getting air out of your tire.
Yeah. No air is going in either direction.
No. Typically, if those things freeze up, you will more likely to break your Schrader valve than you are to break the ice that's holding it closed. So if you try and open up the Schrader valve and force it open while it's frozen, you're way more likely to break and damage the Schrader valve. So valve stem caps, especially if you're running a 4-tire system, you need to make sure you're running valve stem caps. It just helps keep all your Schrader valves in working order. And so if you're driving to and from the snow, or say you get partway through your trip and you're like, I need to air down more because I'm not getting the flotation I need, you won't be able to typically if you don't run valve stem caps.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I just remember is being out on the trail one time and having one of my Schrader valves freeze. Yeah. And I could air up 3 tires, but it couldn't air up one. And I had to literally like blow on it, trying to make it warm, trying to thaw it out to be able to put air into my tire.
Yeah.
And it sucks. So shameless plug for Morflate. Morflate makes these outstanding valve stem caps.
Yes, we
they
do.
You don't thread them on.
No,
you just are like a rubber nipple that you just push over the valve stem, and it's a tight enough fit to hold on, but loose enough to easy enough to pull it off. And they don't ever fall off because of centrifugal force. So they're pretty freaking awesome. Every time I try to explain how they work, I just tell kids, like, remember when you were a kid and you went on I think it's called the gyrotron?
At the fair?
At the fair?
Yes.
That thing that you got into and you leaned against the wall and it spun around and then you were pressed against the wall.
You start climbing up the wall.
Yeah, and you can climb up the wall or try to stick your head out and it like throws you back against the wall. That's what holds the valve stem caps on.
Yes.
Yep. So and what I like about them is that you don't ever have to thread them on or off. You just pull it off, push it back on.
Yeah. It's one of those stupid little things that when you think about it and you hear about it the first time, you're like, well, that's stupid. I have valve stem caps work just fine. And then you start using them and you're like, you have to go back to regular valve stem caps. You're like, fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah. Since I did the internal bead locks on Bobcat and so I have two valve stems. I have a valve stem for the internal bead lock, like tube. And then I have the valve stem for the tire. Yeah. I put the twist ones on the internal and the quick ones on the tire.
Oh, that's a good way to,
so that I would know I'm not, whenever I'm going to go around and air up or air down, I don't want to twist those off. It takes too much work. I'm just going to pull the fast one. Yeah. And then, so I didn't have to color code them. I just have twist style or quick release in a way. Yeah. Yep. That's a good way to do it as well, especially with internals, internal bead locks. So, yeah, those are good ones. Let's see what else. Oh, weather stripping around doors. I was, when we were talking about seals, I actually thought about that and I forgot about it. So thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. Weather stripping and seals, doors, windows, all the above. If they're cracking, they might leak. Yep. Yep, definitely. And if you don't have any, put them in. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, man. Mirrors. Well, hold on, time out. Let me go back to weather seals. 303 rubber protectant sealant, that aerospace stuff, outstanding rubber regeneration product or whatever you want to say it is. But it does bring some life back to seals, windshield wiper blades, tires, all that kind of stuff. Even though Yokohama said, oh, we don't advise you put anything on the tires. And, and that does probably piss off, the pure VIP, pure 4x4 guys. However, the rubber protectant sealant for like seals in your cars, outstanding. I love that stuff. I'll put a link to that in the description. And so you should check it out if you don't have anything to help out with your rubber. Yes. Agreed. Good job, Jimmy. Yeah, window seals. The big thing to remember is just anything that can get water ingress, really, because that's the big thing about winter is your water ingress protection. So making sure that bearings, anything that needs grease is greased up, or anything that usually has grease and will get damaged from water intrusion. You want to make sure those are greased up. Electrical connections, you want to make sure those are weatherized and ready to go. Windshield, and then your vision. I think that's the biggest one. And in winter wheeling is if you lose vision, you're kind of done. You can't really do anything or go anywhere. Yeah. So doing everything you can to spend an extra $5 for the Rain-X windshield wipers, or spend an extra 10 minutes cleaning the inside of your windshield to get that grime off. It'll go a long ways to helping you have a successful trip next time you go out winter wheeling. Making sure your windows roll all the way up and all the way down and the seals are good. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you want to go out and you want to have fun, and you don't want to have to worry about these things while you're out wheeling. Exactly. So spend a little bit of time at home doing some upgrades or fixing some things that are a problem. And then when you go out wheeling during the winter, you don't really have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though at the end of winter, we're going to suggest you to go through and check the seals and make sure you didn't get any water inside of your axle and, pull the differential apart and make sure that there's no water inside of there and change your fluid. So we're going to suggest it again in 5 months.
I wouldn't necessarily suggest all your seals and gaskets in 5 months.
Nah, probably not. But I would change your diff oil.
Definitely. You want to check all your fluids though.
Yeah.
Anything that is oil based, you want to check it and make sure there's no water in there.
Exactly.
For after the winter months.
Because here we are coming from summer to winter. There's probably not water in there.
No.
Though, there are some river crossings up here in Northern California, and there's maybe some river crossings where you wheel, on your adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there is some water in there, but after winter wheeling, there's probably a little higher chance that there's some more water in there. So that's what I usually do. A big fluid flush is after winter, before the wheeling season for me begins.
The summer season.
Yeah. The spring, summer season of wheeling happens. And that's when I do my major fluid flush. I'll do it before we go to Cruise Moab is probably what I'm going to do.
Nice. That's a good time. That's a good spot too. I think Cruise Moab might be my first trip after I do the suspension and axles.
Yep.
So
hopefully it's done by then.
Hopefully, otherwise I'll be riding passenger.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's about all I got. I'm sure we're missing some stuff. I know the big takeaway for me on this one that I didn't think about, which I've thought about, but I just kind of check it and don't really do anything, is the door stripping, the weather stripping, and using that 303 stuff on it.
Yeah. I
always forget about that stuff.
Oh man, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
I asked for a gallon of it for Christmas and I didn't get it.
Oh.
So I'll have to go back and maybe purchase some.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll talk to our 303 friends.
Yeah.
And see if we can get some.
Yeah. I definitely need some.
Yeah. I think, we're just reiterating things now, but definitely for me, it's always just the water ingression, making sure that there's no water. There's no way that water can get inside of components that there shouldn't be water inside of.
Yep. 100%. So cool. If you guys have any good ideas out there, some things that you do to get ready for the winter season and you're not Australian because, the winter season,
they have a winter season.
They do, but it's at a weird time of the year. So we can't talk about that right
now. That's
true.
They never have a white Christmas. Have you thought about that?
Yeah. They do Christmas and New Year's out on beaches and have beach parties.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Yeah. If you guys have some good ideas, let us know. We're always interested in good maintenance ideas and topics to talk about and share with everybody else. So, which is the whole idea behind doing these campfire discussions, is to get the discussions rolling and see what other fun ideas come from all of our listeners that are way smarter than we are.
Yeah. And if you live in a different, neck of the woods than here in Northern California, and there's different types of wheeling out there, and you do different things to get your rig ready for the winter, I want to know, cause there's tricks out there that I want to learn and we can share to the rest of the world that might spark an idea for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. The big thing I want to know about is how do you freeze proof your vehicle?
Yeah.
From the people in the Northeast or Wisconsin or Minnesota, what do you do when you have those big ice, the big nor'easters or the ice storms come through, that build up 2 inches of ice all over your vehicle and encase your vehicle?
Yeah. How do you get into that?
Yeah. Can you do anything with it? I don't know. One thing for Northern Californians or Californians in general, if you are going and taking your vehicle to the snow, get a fucking snow brush and brush the snow off of your vehicle before driving home.
Yes.
There's so many people who do not understand that.
We need the rant button.
Oh my God.
We need a rant button. Ready?
I need a rant.
Ready? Go. Give us a rant.
Oh my God. Okay. So I have a good rant here today. And this has to do with winter wheeling. Okay. We live in California, right?
Yes. You're correct.
And California doesn't see a whole lot of snow. There's people that grow up their entire lives in California and don't see snow. And they like to go and up and visit Tahoe. And there's regular people that have seen snow and they like to go up and visit Tahoe. And Tahoe's a great spot. And we have some really cool terrain up in the high Sierras.
Yes, we do.
But the problem for me is when they come back home.
Why you don't want them to come back?
I would prefer they don't, but no, I'm just kidding. No, because there are so many vehicles during the winter time that come driving down the freeways with a foot of snow on their vehicle.
Yeah, they want to show that they went to the snow.
No, you don't do that. You're going to kill somebody.
How? Why?
Because as you're driving down the freeway, sheets of snow or ice can come flying off of your vehicle and hit vehicles behind you. So there's so many times I'm like, God, all it takes is carry a brush with you or get up, open up the door, get up on the floorboard and wave your arm over the roof of your vehicle for 2 seconds and get the snow off. And so many people don't do that. And so like during wintertime, I try and stay off of the freeways on busy weekends, like where the traffic, when they're coming back down from the hills, I try and stay off the freeways on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's idiots out there that don't fucking take the snow off of their goddamn cars.
There it is. I was waiting for the F-bomb. You can't have a rant without the F-bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and I think most people just assume that it's going to fly off. Why do I need to concern myself? It's just going to fly off.
It will, but that's the problem. And I feel like this is uniquely a California problem. I don't know why it is.
I wouldn't know. I mean, I don't think I've done much snow driving in other states.
So the secretary, she grew up in Massachusetts,
right?
Her whole life, right? Mm-hmm. And she goes, yeah, we keep snow brushes in our vehicles.
Yeah, to clean the windshield.
To clean the windshield and take the snow, wipe the snow off of the tops of the vehicles. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Like that would help so I don't have to wave my arm over the top of the vehicle all the time. And she goes, yeah, why don't people do that here? And I was like, that's a great question.
I think they want to prove it's like driving around with mud on your truck. I went muddy. Look at my truck. And I think it's like, I went to the snow. I have snow on my roof.
If I have mud on my truck, it's because I don't want to clean it.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched, do you know Spencer Hogg?
Yes, I do.
What's his name? Ship X or something like that.
Yep.
On Instagram. I watched one of his Instagram reels the other day, and he lives up in like Alberta, Canada or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he had got dumped in snow, and he walked outside with a leaf blower. Blew his car off, just blew all the snow right off of it. I was like, that's smart. You don't need to brush, just blow it off.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a cold enough snow, you can do that. We don't get that in the Sierras here.
That's true.
But yeah, everybody needs to carry a leaf blower with them.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Just a little one.
That would be...
Or a vacuum.
Vacuum it all off. Oh, that'd be funny. Anyways, so that's my rant. Carry a snow brush with you and take the snow off the tops of your vehicles, people. You're going to kill somebody.
I think I'm going to have to make a rant intro for you.
Just steal Jason and Chris's.
And yeah. Okay. I'll see what I can do.
Just steal theirs and do your own voiceover on it over Johnny.
Just straight over the top. Yeah. I don't know if I could separate the audio, but yeah. Okay. We'll figure something out. Yeah. So I think that's the discussion for us today. Mm-hmm. If you guys do have any other suggestions on winterizing your vehicle to go off-roading, or you do live in another area that we're not specifically talking about, but you do have other tips and tricks that we can share, please let us know. You can always email in at Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. You can message us on Instagram, snailtrail4x4. I look over 4x4 Toyota. Tyler is the man sitting beside me. And if you want to call in and then we can play your tips and tricks, you can always do that as well. The phone number is area code 916-345-4744.
That's it. I like it. Send us all in your feedback. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing the ideas that you bring to the table. And so that we can share them with everybody else out there. One of the reasons why we do the podcast. So Jimmy, Jet, JJ, any final words from you?
If you drive a diesel, check your glow plugs.
That's a good one. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Hey, everybody. It's joke time. Joke time with Jimmy.
Yeah. Today, my son asked, "Can I have a bookmark?" I burst into tears. My 11-year-old son still doesn't know my name's Brian.
Uh-huh. Okay, Mark.